Hi guys, Rob here with Deluks Gaming, and this is Big Pharma. Currently being developed by Tim Wicksteed in the UK and published by Positech Games, of which you may recognize from Gratuitous Space Battles. Big Pharma is a very unique business simulator that instantly reminds us all that good indie developers can still bring us to places we once loved, or places we had no idea we would love so much. Like the days of old where good old Bullfrog brought us Theme Hospital, we now find Tim bringing us back to that same alternate universe, but this time it's a little less front of house. As a matter of fact, if I were to imagine where the drugs were coming from when treating a patient for the squits in Theme Hospital, they would probably most definitely be supplied by the companies we create in Big Pharma. So anyway, the game plays a bit like Factorio, and it progresses a bit like Roller Coaster Tycoon, but it is worthy of its own unique classification because it satisfies something totally different than all of the other games I've mentioned so far. All of that being said, it has been all-consuming and really entertaining as I waited the last couple days for the power supply on my recording PC to get replaced. And in between, I've been playing on my old laptop, which is about 3 years old, and it actually has been running really well. But now that I have my PC back up and running, I thought that we could try some of the more difficult scenarios in the game. I think I'm up to the intermediate level, so that's kind of exciting. Also, I want to remind everybody that this is still a beta product. I believe it's due to release in Steam sometime in the next few months, I believe. And there's still a few features that they're going to be adding, as well as, you know, we may see some bugs here and there. But for the most part, it's playing really well, and it feels like a finished product already. But anyway, let's play the game. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to try and organize this in such a way that it's kind of like a tutorial. I've played enough of the game now to actually have a little bit of authority when it comes to at least the simpler or the base concepts of the game. So I'm going to try and explain that as we go along. First off, you'll notice that the game is organized in terms of difficulty and in challenges. So a game that we've seen that's similar to this is Railroad Tycoon. Well, Railroad Tycoon kind of did this too, as well as Roller Coaster Tycoon, where instead of kind of an open sandboxy kind of free play world like you'd see in Factorio, you have challenges, a series of challenges, and actually Railroad Tycoon is a perfect example of that as well, where you can finish each scenario either good or really good. So in other words, you can win the bronze, silver, and gold, but in this case, it's standard, expert, or master. Standard is green, expert is blue, and master is purple. And of course, we want to finish these all in master. So master would mean you just have less time. So in other words, the objectives here for the beginner level was earn a total revenue of $1 million within 10 years. And because I finished it, I think in 3, I got the master level. So you'll notice that I have finished up to the master level in all of the beginner scenarios, as well as I've done all the tutorials. There is no master level for the tutorials. It only, once you finished it, you finished it. It's either yes or no. So, and then of course the beginner, we've done all the master, and we're going to move on to the intermediate. Now, like I said, it's all challenges all the way through, so there isn't really a free play, but I guess the closest you could have to free play is kind of the show me the money challenges, which is just you earn total revenue of $2.5 million. For a second there, I thought it said 25 million, and I'm like, holy crap, that's a lot of money. But no, it's 2.5 million for the show me the money under intermediate, and you have to do that within 12 years, and that's kind of the most open the game gets. And then, of course, there's a little bit more specific scenarios further down the list. Now, the thing is, you can do that any way you want. You can accomplish that 2.5 million any way you want. And every time you go into and play in an intermediate show me the money level, the scenario is going to be completely different. You're going to be faced with ingredients that are completely different from the last time. And of course, the ingredients are going to have different traits, and you're going to have a completely different map. So it's always different every time you go into these. So really the replayability, at first when I looked at this, I thought, replayability may not be so great if you're always playing the same scenarios, but they do change. Every time you go into it, it's totally different. I've actually been into the intermediate scenario a couple times, and not necessarily failed, but not done tremendous. And that's the other thing. I've gone into it to like the beginner one. I'd go into this one, and I do really, really, really well, and then I go and do it again, and because I'm faced with ingredients that are tougher or just different, I don't do nearly as well. So really, it's kind of a crapshoot in a lot of ways, and makes it a lot of fun. So we're going to do intermediate. We're going to try and work through all of the intermediate and then maybe the advanced. I don't know. It depends if you guys like the game or not. I'm really excited to show it off because it's a lot of fun. First things first, let's decide on a company name and a picture. I like the name Orion, so I think we'll go with him. And we are going to be Deluks Incorporated. And yeah, he looks okay. He looks all right. And we're going to incorporate. Perfect. And right away, we're going to pause it. Like I said, I'm going to try and do this like a little bit of a tutorial because I'm quite familiar with the early game. When I say early game, anything up to the beginner level, of course, because I finished in Master, I think I know it pretty well. Now, there's going to be some things in the intermediate level which are completely unfamiliar to me. Like, I've never used the ultraviolet cure, and I've never used a chromatograph. I don't know. Chromatograph. I know what chromatography is, but I've never used a chromatograph. I have taken some science or chemistry, organic chemistry in university, so I'm a little bit familiar with some of the terminology, but not. It's still very different. But anyway, and of course, I'm familiar with everything you see here. I'm familiar with the pill printer. I'm familiar with the creamer, but I'm not familiar with the sachet fabricator and the syringe injector. Whatever. Anyway, we will get to all of that. But I am going to sort of show you sort of what's going on the screen here. So first off, at the bottom, there is speed controls. You can pause it, make it go at normal speed. I like to play on normal speed most of the time. I don't speed it up very often just because stuff happens and you want to be prepared for it. You can take out loans, like with a lot of good business simulators, you can take out loans, and they vary. It's completely random what shows up here. Sometimes you get interest rates of 17% and you know, $150,000, some like this one, $425,000, but the interest rate's 28%. And of course, as you take loans and pay them back, the new ones appear and it's completely random again. So very cool. Again, adding to that replayability. I've never seen this particular loan layout before. It's kind of neat. Production. This is this screen here. This is our production screens. So this is the look of our landscape. We own this little building here. Kind of looks a little bit like Theme Hospital, doesn't it? Even this layout looks like Theme Hospital, but this is the inside of our factory. And then of course we can buy new plots of land indicated by the 3,000 here and the 3,000 here. And every time you buy a plot of land, it gets more expensive, but we'll get to that. The ingredients. You start out with two types of ingredients, at least up to the intermediate level. You always start out with two types of ingredients, and they are completely random what you start out with. So in this case, we were starting with bruised Mataria residue and sticky Mabari bark essence. And I think the names might be completely random too. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of repeats in this game yet. So far, it's been like completely random. And every single ingredient has attributes. First off, let's talk about this number. This is our concentration level. This 4 here is the concentration level of the bruised Mataria. It is at concentration level number 4. The concentration level can vary from 1 to 20, I believe, and any variance in between. Now, you'll notice that the 4 lines up with this little deep red spot in this little prompt sleepiness, which is a negative attribute or a side effect of this medication. It prompts sleepiness at concentration level 4, actually up to concentration level, you'll notice the active range, 1 to 13. So every time it's within concentration level 1 to 13, it will give you the prompts sleepiness side effect. I hope that makes sense. We won't worry about the pre-requirements and the remove with the ionizer yet. We'll get to that. So all you need to know right now is that red signifies a side effect, and they are not good. They're not good. And if we had that, if the concentration level was at active or was at 14, in other words, outside the active range, the prompt sleepiness side effect would not be active on this particular ingredient. Make sense? And the same goes for positive effects. So these are what we're looking for. So this, in this case, it's painkiller. You'll notice right now, because the green is kind of dark, that the painkiller attribute is not actually active on this particular ingredient yet. And we need to make it active. And you'll notice it actually says that. So it says with the side effect that it's currently active, and with the the attribute that we're looking for, it's currently inactive, because the concentration is outside of the active range, which is 5 to 12, and it's currently at concentration 4. I hope this is all making sense. To make the painkiller active within this ingredient, we need to increase the concentration to 5, somewhere between 5 and 12. So I hope that makes sense. We won't worry about this upgrade button quite yet, because that's later down the road when we're getting into it. So let's look at this one really quickly, the sticky Mabari bark essence. So this one here, it causes headaches at anywhere between the range of 4 to 12, and right now it's sitting at concentration 10, so it causes headaches. It's currently active. We won't worry about that max strength thing too if you're looking at that. And here's the positive attribute because it's green, but it's dark green, which means it's inactive because it's outside of the active range. We're sitting at concentration 10, and we need active range of 11 to 16 to make it active. Make sense? So this one will potentially remove warts, and this one will potentially alleviate pain. This is also the cost of the ingredient. So every time we buy this ingredient and use it in our factory, it's going to cost us $36. Every time we buy this ingredient, it's going to cost us $35. So going down the list here. So this is, now we can start looking at areas of the world that we can go investigate some plants and animals to see if we can find new ingredients. How do we do that? We do that with Explore. So you'll notice here, this is where it says undiscovered. So all this is undiscovered. So, but it gives you some hints as to what we might find here. So if you look here, there is a dragon beetle in some area of the world, and it's a forest. Forest areas don't require specialist teams to explore and are relatively unhazardous. There's different biomes available depending on the difficulty level you play. I think because we're playing, yes, because we're playing as the, in beginner level you get access to deserts and forests, and you do not get access to anything else. And of course in the intermediate you get access to frozen, and I believe in the advanced level you get access to underwater biomes, which is kind of cool. So anyway, initial reports suggest that we may find an ingredient with applications within relaxants medications. So if I'm interested in looking into finding some relaxants, some ingredient that would be related to a relaxant, and I don't know exactly what that's going to be, I would actually send an explorer out to go and research this and bring me back some samples and find a way for us to import that product to us. So we would actually hire an explorer and send him out to go look for it. Now, different areas of the world require more explorers, so this one only requires 1, this one requires 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then these ones here, we cannot send desert expeditions until we've done some research and unlocked those biomes, and the same goes for the Arctic areas. So, make sense? You're with me? Perfect. So in here, it just shows us, first of all, we can actually highlight the ingredient that we want to look at, and we can see sort of the net demand for these ingredients. So in other words, if there's, you can have competitors in the game. If there's a lot of competitors buying the Bruised Mataria residue, it's going to tell us that the demand is much higher than, it's weird that demand is, I don't know if that's correct. Demand 100%, it shouldn't be demand 100%, but maybe weird. Okay, but anyway, the demand should get higher, which means the cost of the product will get higher as more people start importing it to you to work in your pharmacy, or to work in your factory. And it also tells you how many explorers you have here, and idle explorers, explorers that are not actually out discovering areas of the world or products to bring to you, will actually be researching how to make your current ingredients less expensive. And that's where the upgrade comes in. But we'll get to that. Okay, let's go to cures. Okay, cures will show you what you have available to you right now. So these are the 2 ingredients we have available to us right now. Now, not all different ingredients provide different things, but it's possible to have a completely different ingredient that is also a painkiller. But either way, it only shows you what you have available here. So right now we have available to us the ability to make a painkiller and remove warts. And it's going to show the demand. So in other words, over here, it's showing how stable the market is for people looking for products that help remove warts. And it says pretty much it stays the same all the time. There's always a certain amount of people looking for a drug to help remove warts from their body, whatever that might be, right? And it's showing us here how many people approximately are suffering with this affliction and potentially that we could cure. So of course, it depends on what's happening in the market. Certain things, it fluctuates up and down. So right now, actually, there's 108% demand. So there's a lot of people with warts right now. So we you know, this would be a great place for us to start, is to build a product that helps remove warts. And of course, it tells us how many people are being supplied with a cure. Of course, we want to be the people that want to supply with a cure. And of course, competitors can also do that. And then of course, as us and our competitors start to fill the market with the wart medication, it increases the saturation of people that actually have wart medication, and of course causes less demand for the wart product. In other words, there's a lot of versions of like Tylenol and ibuprofen and stuff like that in the market in real world, so that makes it so they're highly competitive against each other and the prices go down. Make sense? All right, I hope that makes sense. There is also a chance this little thing is how many people were actually permanently cured in the last month. We don't want people to permanently get cured. We are an evil, big pharmaceutical company. We don't want people to get cured permanently, because if people get cured permanently, we go out of business. Yes, this is an evil game. It's dark, and it delves into, you know, a lot of sociological questions, or questions that should be raised about pharmaceutical companies in North America, and or probably the UK too as well, about you know, ethics and whether or not, you know, you should be working towards actually improving people's lives and curing symptoms, or curing people and saving them, you know? So, but we'll talk more about that later. Let's talk about, and it shows different areas, and it shows, so this is pretty much everything that's available in the game is here. So there's going to be a drug or an ingredient that helps relieve hypertension, an ingredient that helps treat diabetes, antidepressants, soothe cause, and then you can advance those and start curing other things too as well. Like, eventually we can turn our removes warts medication into something that's also used as a, or not also, that can alternatively be used as a female contraceptive, or we could technically make a medication that not only removes warts, but also acts as a female contraceptive if we do things in the right way. That's where we get kind of complex, but I've done it before and it's kind of fun. But this is pretty much everything here. So right now, if we look here, we're not really all that interested in looking for a medication that soothes rashes, but something that's good for a cough medication would be fantastic. We're at 110%, which is great. But we're going to move on because I'm just teaching right now. Okay, so research. So here we hire scientists to open up different areas of research, or different areas of equipment that we can use, as well as, and like I said before, we can actually open up desert expeditions so that we can discover them with our explorers. We can discover those mysterious ingredients that are in our different biomes. And we do that with our scientists. Now, of course, it tells you how many scientists you need to unlock the area. So this one would be the national headquarters. This research project lays the groundwork for reaching new infrastructure projects. So in other words, we have to research this one before we have the ability to go after globalization, planning permission, advanced construction techniques, or desert expeditions. Make sense? I hope so. Also, we can unlock equipment like the I always pronounce this one funny, agglomerator, and the ionizer. And of course, we can open up more advanced stuff like the multi-mixer, which allows you to mix multiple ingredients together, the shaker, which kind of changes the organization of how the ingredients are laid out so that you can mix them properly, and the analyzer, so you can take a closer look at the ingredients and see where the best concentrations are. And you can also do research on alternate delivery. So hey, sometimes your medication doesn't come in pill form. Sometimes it comes in a cream, you know, or maybe you sold the medication as a pill for many years and you want to reintroduce it as a cream, you know, whatever. And then of course, there's advanced processing techniques, and there's some stuff I have never seen, so I'm looking forward to giving that a shot. And then of course you can take a look at your company overall and your competitors. So we are Deluks Incorporated. We're going to be fighting against Barclay Industries and Medicorp, and it will show what kind of medications they're producing. It's not going to show exactly what the profit are and how they make those medications, but it's going to show them here, and we can be direct competitors, or we can go for different things. It all depends on how we want to plan out our company. And so far, I haven't done a lot of planning with the game. I've just played. And of course, then we've got the options and stuff. And I don't think we've looked at the options. So yeah, just volume. That's really all. They don't have a lot here right now. Oh, running background. Oh, I see. So you can actually keep the game running. I got it. Right. And of course, your audio and all that. And of course, it runs in 1920 by 1080. And I think you can run it in 24 or something. I'm not sure, but not 4K yet anyway. And okay, so now let's get to it. Oh, and it shows you all your cash flow and all that kind of stuff. But we have nothing to show yet, so let's get to the actual game itself. So first things first, let's go back to our cures. And I'm sorry if this is going along a little slow for everybody right now. I just want to be sure that everybody has an idea of what's going on before we get started. And if you're already familiar with the game, again, you know, just give me a second. We will start to speed up and we will go at a decent pace. So we're going to, right away, we're going to look at sexual health and the cure for remove warts, because it's at 108%. The demand is at 108%. Perfect. So that's great. And it's saying that we can sell our product, a finished product, for $114. Well, that's pretty good, but what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything until we actually get some stuff down. So let's take a look at the ingredients that we can used to make a wart medication, because people are very warty apparently. Sticky Mabari Bark Essence has two attributes. Of course, one is a negative attribute, one is a positive attribute. The side effect is it causes headaches, and the positive is that it removes warts. Now, the removes warts is not active, and the cause of headaches is. So we need to make some modifications to this ingredient. We can't just feed somebody the Sticky Mabari Bark Essence and have it do anything. It would just give them a headache right now. It wouldn't actually remove any warts, but it would give them a headache. So we're going to go to our layout here. And each one of these little holes in the wall is either a port in or a port out. So we can bring in a medication or we can send out a finished product. So we're going to import the Mabari Bark Essence into that little spot right there. So now it's showing that this little spot here is, they're like little vents to the outside world. So this little spot here is going to bring in the Sticky Mabari Essence. And here it is, so you can just click on it and get all that same information here. It's currently at concentration 10, and we want it to be at concentration 11, because the active range of that good to remove warts, right now it wouldn't actually remove warts. To make it remove warts, we have to have it at active range between 11 and 16, which means we need to increase its concentration from 10 to 11. Are you with me? Don't worry about that upgrade thing, but just focus on this remove warts things first. Okay, so there are a number of different pieces of equipment that you start with. Primarily, 3. Dissolver, evaporator, and the pill printer. So basically you start off with 3 pieces of equipment plus the ability to place conveyor belts. Ah, conveyor belts. Yes, just like Factorio. Love it! Okay, so the dissolver will decrease concentration by 1. Right? Are you with me? Evaporator will increase concentration by 1. So, and what do we need to do again? We need to increase our concentration by 1 to make this active at concentration 11. So, we need to run this ingredient through the evaporator. Now, these all, I can use the mouse wheel to rotate this, or I can use Q and E, which is new with the patch. Q and E allows us to rotate it. And WASD allows us to move around too like that. So pretty simple, but I'm liking the mouse wheel. The mouse wheel is great for spinning them around. It's just nice and quick. So you'll notice there is an entrance and an exit, just like Factorio. So green is entry and the red is exit. So entree and exit. Okay, so entrance and exit. So we will place that down here like so. And of course, everything's paused right now, so nothing's happening. We don't want time to go by, otherwise we will lose our ability to win our objective, which of course is right here. So complete within 6 years for master, so 2.5 million in 6 years, and we will get master. Complete within 9 years for expert, 12 years for standard, etc. Okay, so let's get this going. I don't want to waste everybody's time. Okay, so we're going to put a belt that moves our product from the hole in the wall to our entrance on our evaporator, which will increase its concentration to 11. And we're just going to start it up and watch that happen. There it goes, our little stuff going in, and it goes zzz. See how that happens? So it increased our concentration to 11, which does affect your side effect as well. Now in this case, it doesn't change anything. It does, but well, that's getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. For now, let's just say it didn't change anything. It still causes headaches, but now the product also removes warts. So technically speaking, we can send this product out onto the market as is. Now it cost us 10 bucks to process this material to increase its concentration. So we have a couple options here. We could actually just put this into a pill printer and send it out in the market and sell it. And for the earlier on stuff, in other words, stuff that's not that valuable in the first place, that's usually not a terrible idea. A little side effect, even though it's a side effect, it'll destroy our margin if we try and modify the ingredients so much to make it really, really good, except we wouldn't make any money on it because we spent so much money processing it. So we could, now there is a quality thing too as well. In other words, we want to have a high quality product, and if our product causes really bad headaches and people are getting really upset about it, it will make it a lower quality product and make it less valuable, and of course we won't make as much money on it. So it's kind of you never know what the right answer is, because there is a varying degree of good and bad, or bad or worse in headaches. We just don't know where that mark is right now. It could be really bad here, or it could be even worse here. We don't know. And the same goes for the positive effect. There is an optimum, like the maximum strength or the optimum concentration is somewhere in here, but we don't know where that is at this point. Later on we can figure these things out, but we don't know right now. So the best thing to do right now is just to send this out to market as is. It's going to cause headaches, and it's also going to remove warts. So it is going to do what we want, but we may lose a little bit of, it may not be as popular, or as people may not be celebrating in the streets quite yet about our wart medication, because they will be at home with raging headaches. So now these are, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I start to click. Pill printers. Pill printers, of course, turn any ingredient into a pill. Pretty much makes sense, but it costs 20 bucks to do that. Now, why did I place 2? Because they have a processing time of 2, whereas the machines I'm using have a processing time of 1. It just, whoops, I didn't, shoot. I had time going all that time. So, in other words, we will produce way more than these can actually process. So we need actually 2 of these to process all that we can produce. Make sense? I hope so. Now we're gonna put a belt all the way to the entrance of the pill machines, and then we'll do another belt to the second one, and we're going to do the same over here and do a 3-way there. So that way we'll have our ingredient going into here, turn it into a usable or saleable material. There we go. So it changes it into quapomycin crystals. Anyway, and it's going to turn the quapomycin crystals into pills and then send it out to market. So here we go. Watch it going to the machine. Just like that. There we go. And then the pill machines do their thing. And then spit it out the other end as pills. Look at that. So now we have pills that are a new product, and it automatically gives you this cue. So you Deluxe fungal wart remover. Sounds good. See, it's Deluxe fungal wart. I like that. It's kind of a play on words. It's kind of fun. All right, and we're going to name it that, and we're going to send it out to market. Just like that, and that machine will continue to work. Now we can actually go to our company. And actually, before we do that, somebody else has also produced a wart cure. So one of our competitors, Barclay Industries, has released a new product, Barclay Flaky Warties. This new product is in direct competition with our product, Deluxe Fungal Wart Reliever. So we can go over here and we see that he also has the same one. His also causes headaches, so he didn't spend the extra money to do the extra processing. He is like me. He's like, just get it out. You know, there's a lot of people that need wart removal, and who knows? We don't know how much money he's making on it. We don't know if he made any more modifications to the medication. All we know is he's selling for the exact same value. And his cure rating is C, just like ours. Now, this can go up or down depending on whether or not people like our product. Now, because it causes headaches, it's probably not ever going to be a B or higher, but we don't know. We don't know at this point. Only time will tell. So you can see here with ours has removed 10 warts, but also caused 8 headaches. We've administered a total of 16. So if we want to take a closer look at that, we can go over here and we can go, whoops, like that. And we can see that both Barclay and I have produced 15 of the, or this month we produced 30 total, and we've supplied 30 out there, and you know, yeah, so that's it. That's cool, right? And 11% saturation at this point, so the market can handle a lot more, but we also have another competitor that might look at the wart removal. Okay, so there we go. Speaking of the devil, here we go. Medicorp Headache Away. So this guy, or sorry, she is actually making a migraine medication, which is, she's actually making a level 2 medication right away. So this is not a tier 1 medication like the wart. So if you look at the ingredients here, we go here and actually we'll go to cures. You'll notice that there's a painkiller, and that painkiller can actually be upgraded to a migraine medication. And she went straight for the migraine medication because it only requires an evaporator, and we have access to an evaporator to make the migraine medication. And of course, because it's 103%, it's actually brilliant. She's going to make a fortune on that. And unless we go and we compete with her directly. Let's do that just to make it a little bit more interesting. Again, I apologize if we're going too slow for you. It will start to speed up as we go along here. So let's start out by importing in our painkiller, which we can upgrade to make a migraine medication. We're going to import that to here. And this is usually how I do things. As long as I know that I can eventually make something, I don't need to look at anything else. I can just kind of follow it along. So if we're going to upgrade this painkiller into a migraine medication, we need to look at what we need to upgrade. Don't worry about the painkiller anymore. That's irrelevant to us because we're not going to be focusing on that. We only need to know what we need to know, what we need to make it into a migraine medication. And that's it. We need to make it concentration somewhere between 7 and 10. You see the pre-requirements? It needs to be somewhere between 7 and 10, and then we can use an evaporator to convert that into a migraine medication. So it has to be 7 to 10 before we use the evaporator. Now the evaporator, if you remember, increases our concentration, and our current concentration is 4. So we need to increase our concentration to 7 and then use the evaporator on it to make it a migraine medication. And because right now at this point the only way we have to increase concentration is the evaporator, there is other ways that get easier, is the evaporator. We have to use a lot of them, so we're gonna have to use 3 evaporators. I hope you're with me, guys. So the first, oh, and you do not have to have them attached to belts. They can be directly attached to the source, or you can directly attach the machines to each other. It doesn't look as pretty though. Like that looks way better in my opinion, because you get to see the products in the intermediate stage, but sometimes you don't have room for it. We'll do it right now just because, well, why not? I find it easier a lot of times to build all of your machines and then go back and add your belts, but sometimes I don't know. Yeah, see, and this is why, because now I have to go back and change that belt. Okay, so perfect. Let's do that, and I don't know what to expect when we get to the point of where it becomes a migraine medication. We may have to make further refinements to it. Right now, we have no way of knowing. It won't tell you in ingredients cures what it's going to look like when it becomes a migraine medication. You'll see what I mean in a second. Right now, all we need to know is we need to get it to 7 so that we can increase it, and then hit it with an evaporator so we can change it. Okay, so let's do that. Let's right-click to remove something, and a double-click to move it. In other words, if I want to move this machine, double-click, like so. Piece of cake, right? Now you can't remove belts. Belts you have to actually right-click and remove if you need to change them. So in other words, if I don't like that, I have to right-click and remove it, which means I only get back half the money I used to put that down, which is crazy. You can totally burn your money just wasting money moving belts and stuff. That's why I usually do the belts after. So there we go. So now, technically, our product comes in here, and then it's going to go in here. It's going to increase it by 1, turn it into a concentration 5. And then it comes out as a concentration 5, then it's going to go into this machine, turn it into a concentration 6. Come out of this machine, and then go into this one, turn it into a concentration 7. See, it's all making sense, right? And then it goes here, and it's concentration 7, and it's going to go into here, and it's going to turn it into migraine medication. Because it had to be 7 before it turned it. See it shake there? Oh, there it goes. Now it is migraine medication. The pain reliever trait is now gone. It's actually converted. That was to upgrade this trait to ease migraine. Okay, so you with me? Now, it's also saying that we could upgrade it again to become anti-seizure medication, but we're going to need some equipment that we don't have and a catalyst which we don't have as well. But it's actually perfect now as a migraine medication. It could have appeared that the concentration for ease migraine could have been way up here, and we might have had to make some more modifications to the drug. But it turns out that it's actually right on target, which is fantastic. So we can actually build the pill printers right away, because all these machines are process time 1. Of course, we're going to need 2 pill machines to process everything, because they are process time 2. They take longer to process, but we should be able to keep up with what's her face in the migraine medication market. So here we go, just like that. Migraine medication comes out, poof, like that. It is now wapilic concentration, and that's going to go up to the pill printers, and we should be able to make a fortune. So the current profit as it stands with these is 137. The pill printer is going to increase or reduce the increases the combined value, but there's a process cost of 20, so it's going to be 137 profit, 136. Now it is possible, actually let's go back here before we do that. There we go. So it's come out. It's we'll name it. Yes, like that. And Deluks migraine no more. Sounds great. Now it does prompt sleepiness. You'll notice here there is a way to remove that trait, this negative trait, this side effect, by using an ionizer, but we'd have to have it in concentration 14 to 19. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just letting you know some traits can be removed, or side effects can be removed. But anyway, so there's our migraine medication. We'll name it. And we're going to go to our company screen and take a closer look here. There we go. We are now producing eases migraine. It also prompts sleepiness. Current rating is C, but that will change over time here. And its current value is 229, but we did quite a bit more processing on that one. So our current profit on that is 133. And it looks like Medicorp is producing, I'd say it's probably exactly the same. Oh, we can actually see her balance sheet too. That's kind of cool. So even though we can't see the individual profit, we can actually see the profit. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, okay. I never noticed that you could see all of their stats too as well. So yeah, there we go. We are actually producing the east migraine medication as well. So we're off to a good start. We are actually making $200 per day. Wow, that is amazing. But we're actually making way too much money because for us to do any better at this game, we're going to have to do some research. And we're going to have to go searching for some new ingredients because right now we only have these two to work with. And the enemies here or the competition are going to quickly do everything they can to make as much money from these two. So we want to kind of get ahead of the game. So first things first, we're going to send out somebody to go take a look and see if they can find some relaxants. It's only going to cost us one explorer, so let's do it. Now explorers cost 5,000 bucks to hire, but only require $50 a day to maintain. So they're pretty cheap to maintain, but cost a lot to hire. Whereas your scientists cost only 3,000 to hire. They're cheaper. And they only cost, I thought they cost more per day. I think they cost more per day the more you have. I don't know. I thought they cost more than $30 a day. But anyway, and first things first with them, generally the way to go, and it depends on what you're doing, but usually the agglomerator and the, what are they called? Sorry, I always pronounce that one wrong. The agglomerator and the ionizer are usually the first two things you're going to need. So I generally send people out to get those. Now that's not always the case. Sometimes you might be looking for something completely different. But if you look here to upgrade the remove wart pill, of course we need the ionizer to do that. So we're going to work on that. And of course, even to do the major upgrade to the tier 3 medication anti-seizure from this ingredient, of course we would need the agglomerator as well. But we also need a catalyst. So we'll talk about catalysts in a second. They actually come from specific ingredients that you find, and sometimes you can actually see. So this one is going to have a catalyst. So kind of cool. As soon as we can send it on the Explorer to go find this ingredient, and it will have a catalyst on it, and we can maybe combine it with the other medication to make a more advanced medication. So there we go. Our factory is up and running. We are actually selling a good allotment of medication, and we've got some research going on. We're actually making a nice amount of money, actually, already. We could technically hire another scientist or go for, well, I think we're better off to do some more expansion. Let's do some more expansion. Okay, so let's buy some more territory. Okay, and while we're here, let's take a look and see what else can we do. We can also, so we've got the removal warts. We can't do the female contraceptive yet, but we could go for the painkiller. Nobody's building the painkiller, even though it's only 87% interest in that one. Why not? Why not? You know, I mean, worst thing that can happen is we don't make as much money as you know, whatever. At least we'll be making money. As long as we're making money, who cares, right? Okay. She's now working on, so she's actually working on the exact same things I am, but I am about to move past her, so all we need to do is, oh, we already have the painkiller. Wait. Do we have the painkiller? What are we working on here? Oh, warts. Okay, so yeah, we don't have the painkillers yet. So to build the painkillers, it is at concentration 4. We need to increase its concentration to 5. So of course we need that good old evaporator. So we're gonna add that like so. We won't worry about the belt yet. And some pill printers, and that's it. I'm not gonna worry about its side effect for now. We'll see how it performs. If the side effect becomes too debilitating for people, well, you know, we'll change it, right? There we go, just like that. Perfect. Also, just so you know, if you want to manually figure out what your belt is going to do, you can hold down the control button, and you can actually mess with the different corners and 3 ways and all that kind of stuff by holding the control button down. So, kind of an interesting thing. Or if you just hold down the button, the belt will go. It will try to figure out what you're trying to do. Just remember to finish off your 3 ways and stuff when you're done making a row. So anyway, there we go. We are now producing, let's see here. We've got our vipamycin residue and we changed it into a painkiller. It still prompts sleepiness, but who cares? Painkiller with sleepy kind of fits for me anyway. I don't know. Unless you're going to work. So this is kind of your NyQuil pill. Perfect, and that goes into the machine, and let's see. Like I said, I don't think we're going to make that much because the demand is not that high for painkillers right now. Also, they can vary depending on the season. In other words, cough medications. Why can't I click on things? Oh, there we go. Yeah, we're not going to make a huge amount of money on this one, but we're still going to make money, so why not? I'd rather make money than not make money. Like, there's still a reason to build even a medication that doesn't make you a lot of money, because it's still making you money. And that $50 still pays for one of my explorers, which is perfect, right? So let's go here and just take a look. Yeah, it's only at 87% net demand, but why not, right? Now you'll notice, I don't know if there's any seasonal stuff here. Migraines, yeah, so migraines at different times of the year, there's more migraines in December and January than there is in July and August. So you'll notice a trend. So you can actually start planning, and some of them are pretty extreme trends, like colds and stuff like that happen in cold season. During cold season, you're gonna sell way more, so you can actually plan your factories around that kind of stuff too as well. At this time, there is no way to store products, which I'm kind of hoping that they... I don't know what's going to be added to the game, but it'd be kind of cool if there was a way to have like a warehouse of certain medications that you only release at certain times a year or something. You build a whole bunch of them and then you just store it and wait. I don't know. That'd be kind of cool. And then, you know, they could do a time limits for that, like expiry dates and stuff. That'd be so cool. So our goal in this, just to remind everybody, is to make 2.5 million total. So right now we've already made 32,000. So it's actually not as bad. You don't have to have 2 million sitting here. It has to be your total earned revenue. One of our competitors has released they got the pain reliever as well. She is an animal. Look at, oh, they're both. Oh no, it's her. She's got all three. She's doing exactly the same thing. Hopefully she's not going to do it as well, but I hope you enjoyed the first episode of Big Pharma. I am loving this game and I'm going to produce a lot of videos on this in the next week. We're still going to do our other stuff, and I apologize for the delay in the last couple days with videos. Like I said, I was making some upgrades to my computer or repairing my computer. I had a power supply issue, but now we're back in action. So we're going to have a really awesome week with Big Pharma and of course Star Drive 2 and some other stuff. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Take care.